Well, howdy everyone, and welcome to my first ever real YouTube video. Of course, I've been posting some podcasts on here for a little while, but today I wanted to do a full-fledged video and talk about my process of shining a pair of my boots, specifically to get a mirror shine on the toe box. Now, these are a pair of black Lucchese boots, and before you ask, I do have other boots besides Lucchese's. In fact, my favorite boots I own are some Anderson Beans that are in some need of a real bad resoling job. But these are a pair of black Lucchese's that I use kind of more as my dress boots. So I'm about to go to the AQHA convention in Las Vegas and wanted to get these things ready to go. So of course, the first thing you always do when you are shining shoes is you want to brush them to remove all the dirt and dust and other things that might have collected on them throughout the wear. And then of course you'll move into adding the polishes. So this first polish is a cream polish, a black cream polish, and I actually don't use it too much on these boots. Every once in a while I will go and completely strip these down and redo them, but for now the most important thing to me is to repair the damage that has occurred to the sole of these. I don't want any light coloring, anything like that showing whenever I'm walking, and so I'm just going around the edge and essentially dressing the edge with the cream polish. So I'll do that to both boots, and I think it just gives, especially black boots, a very nice smooth, clean look whenever everything that you can see about them is black. And I think these boots, as you can tell, even came with a black sole that is of course worn away a bit. So next I will go on and use the Medal d'Or, which is a light wax polish, and this is really good at getting a general shine over the entire boot. Next we're going to be moving into the mirror gloss, which I only put on the toe box, but the Medal d'Or is great for getting a nice, shine or sheen across the entire boot. So you'll see me applying it across the vamp here, on the heel, and even on the toe, because what it also does is add some pigmentation with that black in it, and it will fill in some of the pores of the leather. So one of the keys to getting a really good shine is actually to apply the wax in such a way that it fills the pores, and when you heat it up through the friction of either using a brush or from using a rag or a cloth, that it will heat up and kind of create a smoother, flat surface, and that's how light reflects better. So the reason that your boots are dull is usually because dirt, scuffs, all those things are making it hard for light to reflect directly back. So the smoother the surface you can make, the better, and that's what these wax polishes do. So you don't have to apply these wax polishes in a very large amount. As you can see, I'm just kind of tapping into that thing, getting a little bit on my fingers and then covering the surface. Especially the more that you do this, you'll see that just like anything, the maintenance is a lot easier the more often you do it, and the less you're going to have to do each time. So then of course, like I said, the next thing you want to do is get some friction through the brush to heat up the wax that you just applied to get that more smooth surface. So you'll go over the entire boot, work that wax into the leather, and as you can tell, it's actually already getting a bit shinier. I apologize for the angles and whatnot, because this is one of my first YouTube videos, as I said, but right here, if you look, you can see the difference in the two boots. The one in the back is dull because I haven't heated up that wax and buffed it, and the one closer to the front, which I just finished, has that smoother, shinier surface. So now we'll do that to the other boot. And next up, one of the things that you're going to want to use after this is, if you see that cloth, that's actually an old dress shirt of mine that I have repurposed after I grew out of it. And dress shirts are a really good cloth for shining boots and other leather shoes, because they have a very smooth surface. And again, that's what you're trying to do, right? Is trying to build the smoothest surface you can. They can build up a lot of friction, a lot of heat. So now we're going to apply the mirror wax or the mirror gloss from Saphir. And this is a very thick, hardy wax. I mean, when I rub my fingers through it, hardly any of it even gets on there because it is a solid ball. And I'll get into some more tips and tricks about applying these kinds of things. I wanted to show you guys a kind of a quick video to show you just how easy it is to get your boots going from good to great. But one of the things you can actually do is heat up the wax using a hairdryer or a heat gun if you have it, because that will allow it to not only leave the jar a little bit more, but also it will fill in the holes, the pores of the leather in your boots as well. So one of the things I like to do whenever I apply this is kind of let it sit for a minute on the boots, and so I will move on to the other boot while I work the wax into the other boot. And again, one of the ways that you can kind of cheat to make a better flat surface is to heat this up. And then also, if you see that spray bottle in the middle of the screen, I keep that spray bottle in the refrigerator because the water will get cooler. So now, if you notice, my fingers are almost black with the waxes. And so what I like to do is I have a denim apron, and denim is really good at helping kind of pull that wax off your fingers. So you want to have them cleaned up for this next part, because if you don't, the friction will actually ball the wax up on your fingers. So you want to take that piece of cloth and get it tight around your your index finger and your middle finger, and then apply a thin coat of water. You don't need very much, so just one little spray like I just did, right on the toe box. And then you're going to utilize the friction plus the lubrication of the water to build a shinier toe box. And when I say toe box, people, sometimes it's hard to tell, especially on different types of shoes and whatnot, what the toe box is, but it's the area that has what's called hard countering, or another layer or level of leather within it. And you know, it doesn't really give, and that's crucial to building a mirror shine, because this wax is hard. You know, as I mentioned, it's hard to get out of the tin that it comes in, and so it actually firms up. So you don't want a lot of flexion in that area, because what will happen is it will crack. So now if you look, you can see the light in the toe of this shoe. So that's what we call a mirror shine, because it's reflective. If you looked at the other one that has not been polished up yet, it still looks fairly dull. So the mirror shine, really the goal of it is to, you know, as the name implies, be able to see yourself in it. So the heat and the friction plus the water lubricating that movement is what allows for you to build up a nice, healthy coating on the boots that will turn into a glassy-like finish. So now, as you can see on this one, you can see the light more clearly. It's very shiny, and that is, you know, step one. Now, if you were to look closely at these, you would notice that they're not a perfect uniform mirror. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit more of the mirror wax, and it's going to immediately dull that toe box up again, but it's worth it. And this is the part where you can turn a 10-minute shoe shine or boot shine into an hour-long shoe shine or boot shine, which I have done before. You can continue to add layer after layer after layer. There is such thing as going overboard, but with the mirror shine, as long as you're doing it in small layers, thin layers, one at a time, you're going to get a deeper, cleaner, clearer mirror on that toe box. So I've added a little bit more. I cleaned it off on my apron again. I'm putting the cloth back around my fingers. I'm going to lubricate with the water, and then one more time I want to go ahead and use as much friction as possible. quick little movements. You want to kind of go in a circular movement on certain areas, especially the rounded toe, and just try and get as smooth a surface as possible. If you are interested in this, I'm going to link some videos to some guys like Kirby Allison, which is where I actually get all of my Saphir products, and he has fantastic videos and tutorials on how to build these mirror shines, how to shine your shoes in general, and he's just a wealth of information, and that's where I learned how to do all this. So I will link those videos, but for today I wanted to show you kind of how you can make your shoes look great in just about 10 to 15 minutes. It does take products and it takes a little bit of practice and experience, but if I can do it, you can do it, and it will, be something that helps you stand out from the average person in day-to-day life. I know I've heard that they say the queen, the first thing she looks at is your shoes, because especially in today's day and age, most people don't take the time to clean their shoes. A lot of people, we live in kind of a throwaway culture, and it just shows how much you care about what you wear if you have an attention to detail, if you have a nicely shined pair of shoes or boots. It seems like the Western industry continues to value that. There's boot shining at all kinds of rodeos and competitions. So thank you again for watching the video. As you can see, the nice little white dot on the edge on the toe of the boot means that we did successfully get the mirror shine done. I will also link to Kirby Allison's website so you can look at the products. Thank you again. Well, thank you for watching this video. As you can see, the boots turned out fantastic. I know my dear friend the cow agrees with me. If you would please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, like this video, share it, whatever you can do, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to learn more about how to build